Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to our weekly style snack. I'm so glad you could join me. You may have noticed that we are playing musical rooms today. I'm not in my office, and so it's going to be a little echoey. Um, we're having major electrical work done on the house today, so I was without power until about 5 minutes ago. And I don't have power in my office yet, so I quickly grabbed everything and tried to find an outlet that was working, and we have landed here. So the show will go on. We just make do, don't we? So I'm so glad you could join me today. I had a totally different style snack planned for today, but we've been talking about my new home. We moved recently, and I shared some of my stress a few weeks ago over trying to furnish my new house. I just didn't even know where to start or what to do. And I've kind of come full circle. So, what I wanted to share with you today is what my personal style has taught me about my home decor style and the lessons that I can take from my closet and bring that into my home as I am working on furnishing and decorating my home. And it's just been really interesting. I just got so overwhelmed, everything flew out of my head. And now the things are a little calmer and I can think again. Everything is much more clear, and I wanted to share with you what I've learned. And if you're new here, welcome. We are so happy you're here. This is such a wonderful, kind space, and we hope you'll feel comfortable jumping right in and joining us. And as always, go ahead and leave your comments and questions now, and when I'm done, we'll chat. That's the best part, is when we get to chat. So, a few weeks ago, I had an appointment with an interior designer at a local furniture store, and she asked me so many questions. What style do you want in your home? I don't know. Well, what kind of feeling are you going for? Well, what pieces do you need? I just kind of gave her a blank stare, and she's like, well, what colors do you like? Blue. I practically shouted at her because I know the answer to that one. Blue. I always love blue. Blue is always the answer. Lovely. What other colors do you like? I like blue. That's all. White? I don't know. Why was this so hard? I knew what I liked in my last house, but this house is so different. And suddenly I was doubting myself. In our last home, we were on a mini homestead that we had created, and we had a French country cottage style going, which was perfect for where we lived. It was perfect for raising 6 young kids, and it was perfect for our lifestyle. Shabby chic is perfect when you have a bunch of little ones, because it all ends up shabby before long with the use and abuse of tiny people. So you may as well start out that way and make it look intentional, right? But that doesn't work with our new home, which is much more formal. And also, it doesn't work with where we live. We don't live on a mini homestead. And my kids are also older now, and hopefully I can buy unshabby things and they will stay looking nice for a while. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I'm going with it. So, what do I like now? Nothing can make you question everything you know about yourself like a life change and a major transition, whether you have a career change, a lifestyle change, you became a new mom or an empty nester, you became a grandmother, you got a promotion, death of a loved one, getting married or divorced, even a cross-country move. Suddenly everything you knew about yourself goes out the window. Who am I? What do I like? I don't even remember. I went through this with my wardrobe when I left my corporate career to be a stay-at-home mom of triplets. Oh, the power just came on in the kitchen. There's the dishwasher beeping at us. And I knew what I loved in corporate wear, but I had no clue what I liked, what I wanted to wear for my casual style. I really didn't have any casual clothes because dressy clothes are my favorite. And I started copying other women's style, everything I knew about myself, because suddenly I'm a mom and I have to be somebody else. And so I was trying these other women's styles on like costumes, trying to find out who I was and what I liked. And I know a lot of you have heard this story, so I won't go really in detail, but I call them the lost years. And after my sixth baby was born, I realized I hated how I looked. I hated what I was wearing. I hated how I felt. So I did a deep dive to find myself. And it's just been life changing. And with this move into a new house, I suddenly found myself lost again with my style, but this time it was my home decor style. And suddenly I don't know what I like. Overwhelm, confusion, and worry were all I could come up with until I remembered what I learned about my personal style. And some of you reminded me of a few of these things a few weeks ago when we chatted about this. And I was like, oh, duh. Oh, duh. Yes, you're right. You're right. Of course. Okay, hold on. Record scratch, tear up the paper, maybe even burn it. We're starting over. So, the core elements of what I love don't change from style to style in my clothes, whether they're casual, dressy, yoga, swimwear. It doesn't matter what kind of clothes they are. I love all of the same core elements. It doesn't change. And the same is true with my home decor style, whether it's French country cottage or a formal, more modern design. The core elements of what I love remain the same, and decorating and furnishing my home are very similar to building a wardrobe. So, first, I had to consider my plan of attack. My first instinct with any project is to do it all right now. It needs to be done yesterday. It needs to all happen immediately. I am behind. I have to have it perfect and complete now, right now. I want to feel settled in my home. I feel very unsettled. And I realized partly, I was getting this message from a lot of people, but including you, I don't have to hurry. I felt like I had to hurry. I felt like I had to pick everything immediately. I have to get it all right now. Yes, I definitely needed to get some kitchen towels and washcloths. I needed dishes. I needed glasses. Basic function items, absolutely. Those were pretty top of the list. I needed, a rug in front of some of the doors so people can wipe their feet. But the rest can come more slowly. I don't have to have a completely furnished house today. It's okay to have holes in my wardrobe and unfinished rooms in my house as I go through the process of finding the perfect items. Because what is one of my main rules? Don't settle. That was the one that a few of you reminded me of last time. Don't settle. And when you rush and do it as fast as possible just for the sake of having it done, I'll end up buying things I don't love. And they won't make me happy in the long run, which means I'm going to replace them or just be annoyed by them all the time. And it's a waste of my money if I end up replacing it because I was in too much of a hurry to just get something, because we're not talking about kitchen towels anymore. Sure, if I don't love those kitchen towels, that is not a budget buster to just be like, out you go, or into the garage. But sofas, rugs, like these big furniture pieces, that's dollars. And I don't want to waste my money on things that I don't love. So I am not going to settle. Next, just like with my closet, I need to start with the basics, like sofas, places to sit, and rugs to protect the floors and to cut down on this echo. Can you hear it? But even those can come in time. Those foundation basic pieces will shape the space. They'll give us a place to sit. And then I can fill in with the smaller items like chairs, end tables, lamps, and then make my way to accessories for the walls and the shelves. But I need to get my foundation items first because they shape the space. Just like your foundation items in your outfit support the rest of your outfit. Just as with my clothes, I'm looking for a balance of quality, beauty, functionality, and durability. It's so important to me for my family to feel at home in our home. And that means we need to buy things that are high enough quality to stand up to a lot of use, and let's be honest, abuse. Why do they sit on the back of the couch? I'll never know. There's not even a wall behind you. You're going to fall and crack your head, but it still happens. Not supposed to, but that does wear on the couch, right? I need it to be functional for the ways that we need to use them. And so while this sofa is very beautiful, it's too delicate, for our family, or it's not enough seating. We need enough seating in this room for all of us. And I still want to make these items to make our home beautiful in a place that we want to be. And so it's a very fine balance, and trying to rush it means I may not get all those qualities in every piece I buy. So by slowing down, not settling, starting with the basics and looking for balance, I have a plan of attack for my home the same way I do for building a wardrobe. So let's talk about color. While I love color, I tend to use it sparingly in both my outfits and my home. Most of my outfits are based on neutrals with a pop of color, and the same is true in my home decor. If I have color on the walls, the furniture is neutral, and I'll only use a little color in my decor. If my walls are neutral, my furniture is still neutral, but I'll bring in color with rugs and add more color to the shelves and in the use of art. The overall balance of color is still the same. I just need to be mindful of where I'm putting it. In my previous home, I had some color on the walls, and so everything else in the room was pretty neutral. And here we have neutral walls, and so I can bring in more color in other ways. I like my investment pieces and my foundation pieces to be neutral, whether we're talking clothes or furniture. And I can switch up the color scheme and the styles with accessories over the years without feeling guilty over the price tag. Oh my gosh, that was so expensive. I haven't had it that long, and I can't. I'm just going to be stuck with it, thing that I don't love anymore. But if my foundation pieces are neutral, I can switch up these other things inexpensively and guilt-free. And because I love neutrals so much, most of my color, pattern, and shine show up in my outfit accessories and my home accessories. I keep all those neutrals because that sounds kind of boring. You just got a little color here on your shelves. Even in my bedroom, right now it's all neutral except for one throw. But I keep those neutrals interesting by layering the neutrals and the textures. So there's a lot of white in my bedroom, but there's a lot of texture in those whites that keeps it interesting. Cool, soothing spa-like colors and a palette of gray, white, and layering the different blues. Because at first I was like, I like blue. And she was like, what other colors do you like? I'm like, just blue. Like if you're talking non-neutrals, it's blue. And at first I was like, that's going to be really boring. But it doesn't have to be boring because how many blues are there? Infinite number of blues. And so I layer blues in my outfits a lot. If you've never noticed, I look like I'm wearing a very colorful outfit, but I'm really just wearing a variety of blues head to toe. And that layering of textures and layering those blues keeps it interesting. And I will throw in a little red here and there in my home in just very small amounts, but this soothing, calm color palette helps me feel soothed and calm in my home. And it was the exact same color palette I loved in our previous home. I'm choosing different blues in this house than I did in that house, but I'm still choosing blues. Just as with my outfits, when I cannot control the chaos going on around me, I can control the chaos on my body. And so when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I dial it down. I wear black. I stick to neutrals. I get rid of patterns. And the more overwhelmed I feel, the more black I'm in, the less pattern and the less other color. Like if I'm feeling somewhat overwhelmed, I might be in all black and have on some red shoes. And maybe I have on some pattern somewhere, but like if I'm head to toe black and you don't really see any pattern or other color on me, we're at ground zero right now, and I need ultimate quiet on my body. The same is the true in my house. I have 6 kids and a dog. The volume level in our house is usually at a 10 out of 10, with the chatter, the clinking of dishes, the walking or stomping. Half of my kids are stompers. The barking, the doorbell ringing, the door opening and closing, the chime on the door, the doorbell, the laughing. They're all happy sounds, but there are a lot of them, and they're all happening all at once. And if my walls and my furniture were shouting at me too, I might lose my mind. I need my surroundings to be quiet to balance the volume of my family. Because if I have to pick one or the other, I want the volume of my family. That means they're here with me and they're happy and we're together, and my house can be quiet. The walls can be quiet. The furniture can be quiet, but I need something to be quiet. And so I choose everything around me to be quiet. I love bright light spaces. And so if there's a lot of natural light or great lighting in a room, I feel okay adding some darker furniture and art. But if not, I bring in as much light and bright as I can. And you may have seen a few weeks ago, there was a picture of me standing in our living room, which is dark paneled walls. And it does have one wall of windows, but because the walls are the dark wood paneling, the floors are wood, the furniture is white. And so I need to lighten that room up for me to feel content in there. So nothing that I am putting in that room is going to be dark. It's all going to be light and bright, keeping in mind how much I like light and bright. So we've covered color. Let's talk about style. Not surprisingly, I love classic style in my home, just like I love it in my wardrobe, especially with the major pieces like furniture and rugs. And by keeping, and it just happens that that's what I love, right? But by keeping those items timeless, I can bring in trends and change up colors with inexpensive and smaller items like wall decor, pillows and throws, things that if after a few years I'm like, this isn't really my thing anymore, I don't have to feel guilty about swapping them out with something else. And you can just totally change the room because everything else, the big pieces are neutral and they are classic. And so if there is a trend I want to bring in, I can bring it in with these smaller. There are classic style twists in home decor too. And so while I love classic style, that can get a little boring. And I'm figuring out what details of other styles I can incorporate to personalize my home and my classic style. I mean, the Louis XIV style, that's very classic. That's very ornate. That's a different kind of classic than, say, a more modern, streamlined, clean line sofa versus your Louis XIV type sofa. Like, they're both classic, very different versions of classic. So just saying I like classic is not enough. I have to figure out which classic style twists in home decor, and I haven't identified all of them. That's one of my tasks right now. I am going to love and how to incorporate them into my home so I can personalize my home and my classic style. The details of my outfits vary from day to day with what my calendar and the weather hold for me. I choose sneakers instead of flats for field trips and busy days when I'm on my feet a lot because it's what I need. I need to be able to move around quickly and easily and maybe sprint after a kid who's running for the parking lot. Oh my gosh, one of the field trips I was on, I literally had a runner. She was constantly running off. She would freak out and run away. And so I had to be able to run after her. Sneakers were critical. She was fast too. Good grief. Her mom must be an Olympic sprinter to keep up with that girl. But that is the same. The details of my furnishings can change with each room to suit the room and the people who are going to use them. So just because my formal living room is formal doesn't mean my family room has to be. The living room is the adult only bonus room, not the kid room. I've told this to my kids, this is my room. You all have your own bonus room. This is my pretty room. It will always be clean. It will always be pretty. There will be no backpacks and papers and pencils and leashes and just all your jackets and your blankets. No, not in this room. This is my room. You have all these other rooms in the house. This is the no kid room. And they laugh and they are like, well, can I put my toe in? And I'm like, no toes in there either. No kid toes. And so it's kind of become a game, but I'm totally serious. This is not your room, guys. This is my room. And so I can decorate that with white couches and be more formal in there. But the family room is a part of our kitchen and whole great room area. And that's where our family spends most of their time together. So it's cozier and more relaxed feeling. Sectional sofas and Chesterfield sofas are both classic, and they both work in different parts of our home. And each room, while still classic, will have a different feel to suit what that room is going to be used for. In my home and in my outfits, I like simple, clean lines and not a lot of fuss or clutter. Filling a space with furniture or an empty wall with a picture just for the sake of filling space is not my style. Cozy makes me happy. Cluttered does not. Empty counters make a space feel clean to me, so I don't like to have very many things on my countertop, including decor. And just as I don't have many accessories or details in my outfits, carefully curated art in just the perfect spots fills me with just as much joy as empty walls. The lines and subtle details of my home have a chance to shine just as much as the lines and subtle details of my outfits if I don't overcrowd the shelves and the walls and the floors and just filling the space. You know, you see these designer rooms on Instagram and Pinterest, and they're very beautiful. But I like to look at them, but if I had to live in them, most of them are just too full. I don't want stacks of coffee table books and ball things and baskets of yarn looking cat toys that are actually decor, like tchotchkes all over the coffee table give me anxiety. I recognize how pretty that looks in a picture, but in reality, that's just mess in my own home. I don't like it. I like clean, empty surfaces. So I could have gone on and on. I had to stop myself so that I wouldn't go on too long, but coming back to these lessons of what I know about myself in my style, it's the same. And there are things I don't decorate with bold colors. Very, very little of it, maybe a little here and there. Mostly I like those soothing light colors, but I do wear bold colors. So there are differences. I'm not saying my personal style and my home decor style are identical, but there are common threads between them. And the basic idea that what I love doesn't change from style to style. French cottage style or more formal style, it doesn't matter. The elements that I love are the same. The application of them will be different. And just the same way as my clothes. The things I love in my clothes don't change just because I'm looking for yoga clothes now. And I have a masterclass called 5 Steps to Find the Right Clothes for You to help you kind of narrow down some of those things, those basic foundational details. Because if you can just take it down to the core details, it's so much easier to say, I really love that. I do not love that. I'm not looking for mid-century contemporary. So the details of that are not me. I can admire it in the showroom and in other people's homes, and I recognize how beautiful it is in these other spaces. It's not what I'm after. So this free masterclass, and you can watch it by going to stunningstyle.com/masterclass. It's free, and there's a free workbook that you can download to go through these 5 steps, so you don't have to rush, or you don't even do it. You just listen to the masterclass and kind of soak it all in, hear what I'm saying, and then afterwards use this workbook to go through the 5 steps more at your own pace. And it's just over an hour, just a little over an hour, and it's really, really helpful. I've gotten so much great feedback about it, and it's really helpful. I've heard so many great things from so many of you about how much it helped you, and knowing these things will really help you with your wardrobe and figuring out at a basic level what you do and don't love, so that you can easily make these choices as you're shopping or going through your clothes or getting rid of things. It makes it so much easier. I personally don't like ruffles. So anything with ruffles on it is an instant no. Doesn't matter if I love the neckline and the color and the sleeve length. If it has ruffles, that's a deal breaker for me. So I hope you'll watch the masterclass. It's really good, really helpful. And I'll add the link down here. I'm on my own today, so I've got to. The link is in the comments now, and I can't wait to hear what you think about it. So let's take a look at some of the comments and questions. Sandra says, congrats on your new home. Well, thank you, Sandra. I just love it. It's my dream home. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm so excited to go through this process, which, that's one more thing I didn't say is I can enjoy the process. When I slow down and I'm not in such a hurry, I can enjoy it. Instead of having it be a source of stress for me, I can think of it as something fun. And now that I've remembered these lessons and I know what I do and don't love, it can be fun. Instead of just like, I don't know. Please stop asking me questions because I don't know. Amelie says, this is great. Last year when I was shopping for furniture, I kept hearing your voice in my head. Oh, Amelie, I'm in your head, huh? Well, I needed my voice in my head too, and now it's back. And so many of you just reminded me that last week. Just, April, slow down. Don't settle. It doesn't have to happen today. Don't settle. And I was starting to settle. I had brought some things home. I'm like, this works, or that could be fine. And anyway, no, I'm not going to settle. It'll take time. That's totally fine. Shannon says blue is always an answer. I totally agree. We're in the middle of a bathroom remodel, and I can't wait to see the finished product. When we did our kitchen remodel about a year and a half ago, I went with light, bright, and cheerful for the feel of my kitchen. Yeah, blue has just always been my favorite color. For as long as I can remember, it's been my favorite. It feels like a neutral to me. And so really, even though I'm layering blues in my home, they still feel neutral. So that's kind of cheating. I'm not really adding color, but I am if other people think it's color, but I don't. And I love light, bright, cheery kitchens. I do. Ours feels the same way to me. Lynette says, yes, basics first. I use neutrals, then add color and pattern. I also Also, scale of the items matters too for the size of the space. Don't settle. I start on Pinterest and save rooms I love. Soon there becomes a pattern of what I love to direct me. Absolutely. We're going through this right now. There's a sofa that we love for the family room, but it just doesn't fit the space. It's enormous. It's a sectional. It's huge. And the shape of our great room, it just, the direction I need it to face, it just won't fit. And so, I'm having this inner battle, but that's so good. I love it. But I don't want my room to feel squashed and overwhelmed. That goes back to the overfilling the space. So I totally agree. And I haven't had time to get on Pinterest yet, but I'm going to. That's a great suggestion. It's just been pure chaos since we decided to move in July. So I haven't even had time for that, but I'm going to. Lynn says there was a university that built years ago with all the buildings. They decided not to place in the sidewalks and walkways between the buildings. They waited until the students walked among the buildings and dorms, and the students determined where the sidewalks would go by the paths they traveled. This has been a model for me in various aspects of my life. Lynn, that's fascinating. How smart is that? Because where I went to school, all of the sidewalks were like this, and between buildings that were straight across from each other, there were no straight sidewalks. You had to go like this and then that. And that drove me nuts. And they didn't want you to walk on the grass and trample the grass. And but you're doubling the amount of time it's going to take me to get to my class. Like the diagonals work when the buildings are adjacent, but the ones that are straight across, and it's large space between them. Like there's a big quad in there. So I just like to walk in straight lines. But that's brilliant. I'll have to think about that. Let's see. Lynette says blue patterned accessories help too to add interest along with textures. Yes, absolutely. And I'm looking for a blue pattern chair for my living room. It's going to be the one unneutral, not white piece of furniture in there. But I'm having a really hard time finding it. But I'm going to wait. I'm not going to settle. A Facebook user says, clean, simple, uncluttered is for me. Me too. And it's totally different. Some people really love that very full, cozy, like to them it feels cozy. For a lot of people, my real lifestyle, like which is totally different than like magazine style, would be boring. And they'd be like, so where are the coffee table books and the stacks of like things? They're not here because I hate them. And where are all your throws? Well, my throws get thrown on the floor because of my kids. So that's just a job waiting for me to pick that up. So we're not doing any throws in the main living areas. Rachel says, interesting points. I definitely see the similarities. I did red and black with decor from my travels for the living room, navy blue for our bedroom, calming color. I like thinking from this new perspective. That's great. I'm so glad that, gave you some new ideas. And you don't have to keep the same exact color scheme from room to room. I just like what I like. You can go way more in detail like this. Like, what is your sight line? And the things from this sight line to that sight line need to get along. We're not going to go into that. Like, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, like we each love something. We're just so unique in every aspect, and our clothing choices, our home decor choices. It's just we need to listen to ourselves. Irene says, I've actually done the masterclass twice. Well, Irene, that's awesome. I hope you loved it. Julie says, I completely share your home decor aesthetic and needs. I live with a husband and children who seem to love all their items visible all the time. It's a constant battle for my sanity. Well, fortunately, my husband and I agree on this. Not all of my children do. In their bedrooms, they can have it all out if they want to. My daughter is happiest when every inch of her wall is covered with just all the stuff that she gets from wherever, school, dance, friends, neighbors. I'm like, why would you put this on your wall? Because it makes her happy. Okay, just don't ruin the paint. Just don't use the wrong kind of tape or whatever. Rachel says, me too, I loved it. Are you talking about the master class? Well, I'm so glad you loved it. Rosemary says, would you give us, oh, it bumped, a quick tour when you are more settled or some pictures? I might. This could be a long time coming because I'm not going to settle and I'm going to take my time. I'm also a very private person. So it's something I'm thinking about. I have to have boundaries in my life and my private life and my business life. It's so easy for them to totally mesh. I rarely share pictures of any of my kids, and usually you can't see their faces very well. So I'm thinking about it. It wouldn't be the whole house, maybe just parts of it, because it's beautiful. I love it. So the answer is maybe. Julie said, a Facebook user says, Julie, me too. I tell my husband he's a hoarder. He wants everything out where he can see it. We're just all so different. I know it could be super frustrating. I'm really grateful my husband and I feel the same way about things. But I try to give, I don't want my kids, you can do it in your room, don't do it in the family room. You can have all your stuff out in your room if you want to, but not in the main living area of the house. We all have to, yeah. Cindy says, I'm so glad to hear that you love your new home and it's your dream home. I've been sad that you left those beautiful blue doors to your previous office behind. I know. I keep thinking about them. My office is one of the rooms that is a priority for me because it's so echoey in there for one thing. I need some rugs and just, anyway, and I'm trying to set up something so it's pretty behind me. I loved having those doors behind me, but number one, the people who bought the house really wanted those doors. I always swore I would take them with me. Number two, there's nowhere in this house that they would fit. So we left them, but I miss them too. I love them. Brenda says, my entire home is decorated in blue. A fellow blue lover. It just is my favorite. Other people love other colors, but blue is for me. We should start a club. Julia says, do you know what color beige your walls are? I would like to try something like that with my home. No, but I can look. Here's the interesting thing. I could go on for hours about the crazy stuff this woman did when she renovated this house. But one of the weird things that she did is, my house is kind of in 3 channels, if you think about channels. This one right here is the kitchen and family room and everything, and it's gray, a very beautiful light gray that I love. This space is beige. It's all freshly painted. Why did she change the colors? And they have different undertones. Why did she do that? So that beige goes up the stairs and through all the bedrooms upstairs. But then the whole basement is that gray color. Why? Why did we do this? I think it's so bizarre. But there's a ton of paint cans and things down in the storage room. So I can look and see if it's on there. And if it is, I'll come back here and leave it in a comment. It's not a very yellowy one, which is good. I guess it gets along with that, but I just like the gray. I wish this was all the same color. Someday when I'm feeling crazy and brave, I'll paint it. I'm really good at painting, but I hate doing it. Amelie says, I remember reading about that sidewalk thing. I thought it was so brilliant. That is brilliant. It's just common sense. It's so good. A Facebook user says those colors are amazing on you. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. This purple color is a color from the, I used it in last winter in the wardrobe guide, this summer, this fall, and last spring. I've been, it's such a good color. It's so hard to find, but I've been able to use it this whole year and I love it. Cindy says, one of my great aunts always said every room needs a touch of blue. Well, if you're a blue lover like we are, it's totally true. Mary says, hi, my go-to house color is red. It's my neutral. I just bought a new red sofa. I tend to use the same colors through my home, just various shades throughout. Oh, I helped my parents pick out a red sofa several years ago. It was just beautiful. It just went so well in their house. I bet that's gorgeous. I love red. Just in my home, I like it in teeny tiny doses, but that sounds beautiful. Irene says, I find decorating so much easier than putting clothing together. Irene, you're so lucky. It's so detailed and there's just so many moving parts. But if you take the lessons that you know from decorating and put them into your wardrobe, it makes it so much easier. Like flip it around. And if you take this master class, it'll really help you kind of cement that. It's the core elements. What do you love at a basic level? And then translate that into your clothes. Linda says, I have neutral, oh, something else just came on, more power in the house. I have neutral light gray walls, black painted brick fireplace, red couch. Kitchen is neutral with red and teal accessories. My personal room, a boudoir of sorts, is bright colors and blacks and whites. I'm gonna have to reread that when I can mentally like draw it in my head. But it sounds beautiful. I love seeing how other people decorate. I love seeing other people's styles, and I can admire what they've done and know that I like looking at it, but it wouldn't be right for me. I just love seeing, there's so many beautiful styles out there. That sounds fantastic. Linda says, I'm with you, painted our entire house one color, all the walls the same. I had some different colors in my last house, but they were all, oh no. The power to the alarm panel is back on. We might have to cut this off because that's horrible. Sorry. Oh, he got it up. So I'm awake now. If I wasn't before, I'm definitely wide awake. So like in our last house, I had just a few different walls were blue, but they were the same tones of blues and gray. Like they were the same tones. It's not that I think every wall in the house needs to be the same color, but if you're painting the walls all neutral, why would you do that? Like, why would you switch it up? Like if you're painting like color, then for sure, but why would you switch from one neutral to the other? I don't get it. Just why? Anyway, but I had different blues on the walls in my home. Just, well, because they don't all look right in different spaces, right? Judy says, finding the right paint colors, it's so important to how you feel when you wake up in the morning. I used to wake up in a room painted Rhine River and it was gorgeous and restful. Now my room is kind of apricot and it's a whole different feel in the morning. Oh yeah, it really does affect how you feel. Yeah, it's all around you, right? You're swimming in it. Wendy says, I am boring. My entire house is a very light gray and master bedroom is light blue. When we bought it, one guest bathroom in the basement were dark red. So not us. We also splurged on nice furniture. Super sad that the dining chairs are falling apart, but the glass dining table with little kids has been a fantastic investment. Scratch free and easy to wipe clean. You know what, Wendy? Boring is my favorite. I'm boring too. And I really like it. So I think that sounds fantastic. I could not do a dark red room. That would feel terrible to me, but it would be perfect to somebody else. So I think boring's great. So I'm with you in the boring club. My mom has a glass dining table, and it's always dirty. Like if you touch it at all, it's dirty. I mean, she doesn't have kids there anymore, so it's only dirty when my kids come over and. But it is great that it doesn't scratch. And yeah, I mean, it is sad when you see your things kind of take some wear and tear, but it's it comes with the blessings of having our families and our kids with us, right? Leslie says, I thought your dog was barking. My word, if she barked like that, we would have to part company. I couldn't handle that. That was really loud. So anyway, those are all the comments and questions I see. This was just such an eye-opening experience for me, and because you all were such a part of the beginning when I was so stressed out and overwhelmed, I thought you might enjoy these lessons that I've learned and how it's all kind of come together. So I want to thank you for reminding me and just kind of grounding me when I was on the edge. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I always enjoy doing these style snacks with you. I really, I appreciate that you spend this time with me. Your time is valuable, and it means a lot to me that you spend this time with me each week because I really enjoy it. I appreciate that you invite me into your life, and I'm so glad that you're part of mine. It really brightens my week to join you every Wednesday. So if you're new here, I do go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for a style snack. And I hope you put it on your calendar and join me again next week. And let's see, there's one more. Jan says, when my daughter was 9, she wanted her walls to be pink. She picked out the color, but it came out Pepto-Bismol pink. When she was 12, she painted it Navajo white, just like the rest of the house. I think we've all had a Pepto-Bismol pink room or some equivalent of it. I've made some painting mistakes myself in the past. But it sounds like she wanted to quiet it down after a while. 3 years of Pepto-Bismol was enough. Wendy says, this has been great. I am in decluttering mode, and being in the society has helped me know how I want to incorporate color and texture and clean lines into my home as well. Thank you, April. Well, Wendy, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. It's like this is my entry. Those are the main stairs, and my front door is right there. And so, I'm looking for something to go here. I've got an idea of what I want, but I'm okay with having this empty space back here behind me until I find just the perfect thing. Yeah, I was just noticing that as I'm sitting here, and I'm like, that's a really empty wall, but that is totally okay. And the clean lines, yeah, it'll be something simple, but it'll be something I love. Sherry says, some people say gray is in year 8 of the 10-year cycle. Colors are moving to beige or gray. Yeah, I'm sure it is. However, I just prefer gray. It's just what I like. Just like colors in clothes go in trends, colors in homes go in trends. I have always loved cool colors. I don't like beige on my walls. I like gray. And so, if you take this masterclass and you start to figure out what you do and don't love, the truth is you have permission to wear whatever you love, no matter what's trending, because it truly suits you. And I feel the same way about my home. Turquoise and blues and all those things, aqua, are really on their way out as far as home decor goes. And I'm having a hard time finding those colors, but they're not out with me. I love those colors. And so I'll continue to use them because it's what I love. It's soothing to me. It feels comfortable to me. It feels beautiful to me. It's just what I want. And so it's fun to follow trends as long as they suit you. But I also will continue to use what I love just because I love it. So I'm sure. Gray is on his way out, and beige was in before, and we just kind of flip flop. But I'm gonna stick with gray. It's what I like, and this is a nice beige. It's kind of a warmer beige. It's not too yellow, but I still prefer gray. So that's what I'm gonna go with. And for all of you who are excited for beige to come back in a few years, do it now. If that's what you love, go for it. Be ahead of the trend. All right, ladies, thank you so much. And I will see you next Wednesday. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.